Welcome to the Elements of Improv. I'm Andy.
I'm Karen.
And we are Defiant Monkey Improv. We're here with our regular series of short videos talking about different elements of improv to help you elevate your game and take your improv to the next level. It's been a long day. Karen!
Yes, Andy?
What are we going to talk about tonight?
The hero's journey.
Yes.
Because we've been talking about story, and last time?
We talked about showing and not telling.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, so instead of just talking about stuff, it was jumping back and forth. And we also mentioned that a quick way into a story for an improv show would be to have a quest. But a more detailed way to have a story is to use the hero's journey, which has been, I don't know, did Joseph Campbell?
Really codified it.
Yeah.
I can't remember the book title. I'll put it.
The Hero's Journey.
Right underneath here. No, it's...
Joseph Campbell and the amazing Technicolor sociology anthropological study.
Yes. This is the real title. So, now the hero's journey is a model that's been used since ancient times, really.
1977, Star Wars.
Yes, ancient times. We're going to use Star Wars as a model for this, but once you learn about the hero's journey template, you can see how it's used all over the place in films and books and television and such. Now, we know that unless you're really doing dedicated long form, you probably won't use this model completely
yeah.
or as minutely. There's words I'm looking for. Words not good now much.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail. Actually, there's a million resources online that show, they have diagrams. You could look at images of the hero's journey.
Yeah, and there are different versions of it too.
Yeah.
They break it down different ways. The one way we're going to talk about it comes from the book Beating Broadway.
Yeah, great book.
It is. If you're writing a musical,
what's his face? Should I grab it?
Do you have it?
I do.
Sure, grab it. Give him a shout out. But it breaks it down into 7 distinct steps. This is
Steve Kuden.
Yes.
Yeah, Beating Broadway. Look, we've been using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not our book. We don't know this guy.
Well, it's our book. I bought it.
Steve. Yeah, you did. It's ours. Look, we probably wrote in it. Oh, yeah, we wrote in it.
Yeah, so it's ours now. Don't tell the library.
Yeah.
So we're going to give you a brief overview of the hero's journey and then talk about how it can be modified to work well in both long form and in short form games.
Yeah, because even if you should understand the hero's journey so you can feel it and you can know when, I can grab onto this and use this in my scene. Even if you don't go through most of the journey, you're like, yes, we're in this part of a hero's journey in this scene. You say really quickly to yourself in your mind, and then you can take advantage of it because you know what comes next or you know how that's used. So, Andy, are you going to go through all the steps, the big long one, or just the Beating Broadway one?
I was going to go through the Beating Broadway one because the other one has 12 steps to it, but some of them are condensed into one step in the other one. The first one is normal world. That's where you wake up in the morning and you're...
on Tatooine,
getting ready to argue with your...
soon-to-be dead uncle.
The toast couple. That you want to go to the academy and are tired of going into Tashi Power Station for some power converters.
So that's your normal world. Dirt farming on a planet.
Yes.
So
then you get to the inciting incident. This is where things start moving. Something happens and you start on the journey, which in Star Wars would be...
You buy a droid and stick a screwdriver in it.
Defiant, where he finds the message from Princess Leia. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
All right.
And then a droid tricks you into removing his restraining bolt, and there it goes.
Yeah, which makes him chase after it.
Yes. What's the next one? Oh, point of no return. This is where the hero gets to a point where they cannot return to their normal world. They commit to the quest, as it were. Now, they are, at this point, they're not really doing it for the right reasons, but they're doing it. Like Luke, he didn't want to go. He said to Obi-Wan, yeah, I can take you as far as Mos Eisley or wherever you're going.
But the inciting incident was that they turned into crispers.
Yeah. They killed his Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, and now he wants to go with them. So
not a great reason. He wasn't into it for saving the Empire. No.
And
Rebels.
An interesting point here is that Obi-Wan is an archetypal character here that you find in heroes' journeys, which is the mentor. So if you throw a mentor into your scene, someone who teaches the protagonist, brings them along on their journey, it helps.
Yes.
Don't have to, but it's something to think about.
Yes.
What's next? Oh, midpoint begins, which is the meeting of the mentor and crossing the threshold, which would be like hiring the Millennium Falcon and leaving Tatooine. They've crossed the threshold. Now Luke is off the planet and on his adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Big gloom. Big gloom. This is where it seems like everything is bad. Bad. They killed Obi-Wan.
They killed Obi-Wan. We were in
Wah.
a trash compactor before
Wah.
that, but no, Obi-Wan. Yeah, Obi-Wan's the worst, man. That's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worse than a trash compactor.
Yeah. Now,
It's really bad. Now, don't be afraid to throw in, actually, that's part of it, all these roadblocks to getting there, too. The having to disguise themselves and get thrown into a trash compactor. And
that's where
wrestle
the
a
action
snake.
is.
Yeah.
That's what the audience wants to see. They tell you in the hero's journey to keep throwing stuff at your hero. Make them miserable. Beat them up.
Oh, yeah.
Beat the crap out of
The
them.
worse, the better. The more, and in the big gloom, the more like it seems that they will not succeed, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now in the big gloom, the big gloom can sometimes in some stories last for a long time. In other times it's short. Like in Star Wars, I mean it's a space opera action movie, so the big gloom lasts. Oh no, Obi-Wan's dead. Wow, there's TIE fighters to shoot.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're all happy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think too much about it.
Yeah, don't think.
Keep the story going.
Yeah.
And the audience won't think about it either.
Yeah.
Then comes the climax into resolution. And that's where they end up fighting the Death Star and blowing it up.
But he needed to go through all that. All the trials and tribulations and learning from Obi-Wan and doing all that in order to get into his X-Wing fighter and be special. If he hadn't had all the hardship before that, he wouldn't have been able to say it.
Use the Force, Luke.
Whoa, what? Okay, I'll put
Luke,
it away.
you've turned off your targeting computer. What's wrong?
Nothing. I'm just gonna eyeball it.
Sure, why not? What could go wrong? So, and after that comes what they call the new normal. The new normal, which in Star Wars is really just the ceremony where they don't give Chewbacca his medal. So in looking at this, there's character growth. Those challenges that you talk about are what challenge and mold that character. Luke starts out.
He was not worthy to get a medal when he started. He was a whiny teenage brat.
Yeah. Wait, not Chewbacca.
No.
Oh.
No, I said Luke.
Luke, yes.
Luke was not worthy.
No. And
So
he was
at
going
the
on
beginning-
he was going on the quest for the wrong thing. He didn't He didn't want to be a Jedi Knight. He didn't want to do any of that stuff. But as he went along, he discovered the real reasons behind why he was on that
quest. For the right reasons.
He did.
And I suppose there's an arc through the whole of the trilogy
Oh,
as well.
yes.
So
the Star Wars movies, which are the 3 movies.
Don't get him started. Don't get him started. No. It's all right.
Now, looking at this, especially if you do short form, you're thinking, I can't do all that. And you know what? You're probably right. But you can do a condensed version, a Reader's Digest version of it. Yeah. And keeping this in mind too, I was going to mention this earlier, but she kept talking. During this series, we'll be giving you some guidelines and tips like the hero's journey and such, understanding that it's more knowing it exists, knowing it's there as a framework, so that you can then adapt it to what you're doing on stage. You're not expected to I'm going from into climax into resolution at this point. No, but knowing that exists and understanding it will let you do
that voodoo
that you do so well.
And one other thing,
yes.
It will hopefully stop you from stomping on somebody's hero's journey. Because we mentioned it in the intro to story, that widget salesman, where you've set up a problem and then somebody comes in and solves it.
Yes.
So you're setting it up for your hero to go through trials and tribulations, and then you fix it before they can even go anywhere. They can't go on their big journey because it's been fixed.
Yep. I wrote it right here. Widget salesman short circuits the hero's journey.
Yeah.
It does.
So,
it's right there.
Yeah. Don't read ahead.
No.
So you can use this to help you create better stories simply by recognizing when you have a hero's journey and not to stop it. You can really mash your hero down.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It really is.
And in short form, yeah, like we said, you won't get through the whole thing, but maybe start in the climax. The big gloom.
The big gloom.
You may start right in the big gloom.
You may jump ahead. Enter late.
Get out.
Leave early.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to remember that I had that right. Keeping in mind, like with short form, you will most likely end your hero's journey before the last stage. You'll end it with a reward. You'll end with, yay, we accomplished it. You end on a high, your audience will love it, and you end.
You don't have to go back to a new normal.
No. Like if you ever read Lord of the Rings, spoilers, at the end, and it's not in the movies, should have been, once they've destroyed the ring and everything like that, that wasn't the end of it. Frodo and his companions went back to Hobbiton, and it had been destroyed by Saruman. And there was a chapter there called The Scouring of the Shire, where they had to get rid of him and create a new normal there before they left Middle Earth.
So as we said last time, read a book.
Yeah. Yeah. So in short form, you'll end with the reward, and yay, or that was funny, or whatever. Now, if you're doing long form, you have the luxury of creating a whole hero's journey, and that's a great way to format your long form, because a lot of long form that you see is really just a lot of short form kludged together with very loose connections between them. If that's what you're doing intentionally, there's nothing wrong with that. We're not saying that.
But if you want to create a big, complete story that will make your audience say, wow, and make them think like you wrote it ahead of time. If everybody's on the same page, like with they knowing the hero's journey, you can easily follow it. Yeah.
It's a perfect template for it. It does a lot of the work for you.
And it's just you'll see it everywhere now that you know. Now that you've written, now that you have eaten from the tree of knowledge.
You'll get kicked out of the Garden of Eden.
Yep.
Then the fun begins.
Put on that fig leaf.
Yeah. Boink.
And you'll be able to see this. And that's part of your homework.
Yes.
is
Yes.
to look at this.
Watch movies looking for the hero's journey. You can also watch TV shows.
Watch Shrek the Musical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not think I was going to like Shrek the Musical, but frankly, it was a pretty well done musical.
And he went on a
Yes.
hero's journey.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. We'll have to rewatch
Yeah.
Shrek the movie. It's been ages since I showed it. I love the movie too.
Yeah, we'll have to watch.
We'll have to rewatch it, and that's got a hero's journey in it as well.
Yeah.
Practice open scenes.
Yes. Even
Once-
if you're doing timed short form in your shows and games and stuff, at least in your rehearsals.
Yeah, practice open scenes trying to employ the hero's journey. That will build, and we've mentioned it before, and we'll mention it again, it will build that muscle memory so that when you get out on stage, you'll be able to fall into it reflexively. Read. So speaking of comments, if you have any observations about the hero's journey, if you could think of any movies, TV shows, or books that display the hero's journey, put it down in the comments. We want to hear about it. We want your ideas.
Yes.
And it'll be great fodder for other people to look at and go, oh, I know the hero's journey. It's this.
Because it's a lot of places.
It is. It's all over the place. And it's in different disguises. And if it's well done, you don't notice it. Is that all we have?
I think
so.
so.
That's
Did
everything we
plug our book hard enough?
No, we didn't.
Well, plug
Elements
it,
of improv.
plug
Whoa,
it,
you're very close there.
Plug it.
Elements of improv. We are currently working on one called the 1 Minute Improviser. We'll let you know when that's out on Amazon and Kindle. So keep an eye open for those. We also we passed the electronic hat because we are poor professional improvisers, if I may be redundant. So you can scan the Venmo QR code there.
Is it here?
It's somewhere right there.
Is it here?
Or
right?
you can click on the PayPal link I'll be putting in the description. Now they're both PayPal products, so they're perfectly safe to use. If you can support us, we would love for you to do that. If you're unable or unwilling to, that's fine. We put these up there for you.
You can also just go buy a book.
Yep, that'll help too. That'll help too. But thank you so much for spending your time watching us. We hope you learned something. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you. I'm Andy.
I'm Karen.
We're Defy Monkey Improv. This has been the 5 Elements of Improv. Happy improvising. Are they gone yet?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good luck storming the castle.
Hey!